what's going on lately, but the media keeps recognizing powerful women, and Variety is no exception. They have listed out Variety's most powerful women, and that included Sydney Sweeney and other examples, but also Nicole Scherzinger, who is recognized mostly for being the former lead of the Pussycat Dolls, but her career has continued since then, and she is now promoting her role as Norma Desmond in this revival of Sunset Boulevard on Broadway. And she did a full-length interview with Variety because of their recognition of her for this role. And it was mentioned, just buried in the middle of the article, that she is Christian. And she said that she has been met with a lot of backlash in Hollywood for being Christian, unsurprisingly. So here it states, Broadway can be unwelcoming, and Nicole Scherzinger's outspoken faith makes her something of an outlier in an industry that balks at too much Jesus talk, especially when that talk becomes entwined with Trump messaging. She learned that when she commented on a Russell Brand Instagram post the day after the 2024 election.
Do you want to give some context for that? Because
Yeah.
you had to remind. It felt like so long ago that it was a
got
thing.
canceled, but I don't know what even happened. And she clearly still has plenty of opportunities on the table, so I wouldn't call that like a full-on like you're done for cancellation. But she commented on this Russell Brand selfie where he was wearing a red hat, spoofing the MAGA hat, which says, I think, make Jesus first again.
Based?
She commented on his Instagram post saying, like, where do I get this hat? She likes it because she's Christian, with prayer hands emojis and heart emojis. She later deleted the comment because people were immediately coming after her for, I guess, just suggesting that she's Christian and wants to wear something that expresses that. And also, of course, because they were offended that she was associating herself with Russell Brand, who is also, to some extent, canceled. She deleted the comment and made a big mistake by apologizing the next day on Instagram. She said at the time, I deeply apologize for the hurt caused by my recent engagement with some social media posts. Not gonna get any more specific than that, I guess. When I commented on these posts, I made the mistake of not realizing they could be easily interpreted as being politically related, and I apologize to anyone who understandably reached that conclusion. Many presumptions are being drawn which do not reflect who I am, what I stand for, or who I voted for. Many of the marginalized communities feeling hurt and concerned by the results of the presidential election are people I care about the most. I stand with them as I always have throughout my life and career. If you know me, you know that. She added that during troubling times, she finds solace in her faith and thought that the post encouraged people to lean on their faith. She said,
people are going to misinterpret whatever you say.
That's exactly right.
Yes. I believe that the post I engaged with were encouraging people to choose faith, putting Jesus first. For me, Christ embodies peace, compassion, hope, and above all, unconditional love, especially for those who may feel it the least right now. I come from a place of love, and I will always support values that bring us closer together. It's so important we come together with compassion and love one another more now than ever. So she tried to quell the rage that was being sent her way with this apology post. It never works.
Never works.
It's always a failing
Can somebody
move.
point to a specific example where like everybody was mad at them and they made a single post and everybody was like, you know what?
Exactly.
Fair point.
The apology actually worked. A real alpha male culture war kitten knows that you cannot serve two masters.
Just have no social media.
If you try to hedge your bets and go, well, you know, I really am Christian, but like I understand and respect and support all the people who hate Christianity, you're just not going to go anywhere. What you have to express is that by bringing them the light of truth, you are supporting them. Part of what supporting a person means, part of what loving them means, is saying, this is what the truth is, even if you don't like it. And she didn't even say anything that controversial. She just said Jesus should be put first. She left a comment on a post saying Jesus should be put first, and people are freaking out. You cannot give them an inch. You can't give them an inch.
I could, look, it would still have been the wrong move, but if it was like her commenting on like an actual MAGA hat, I guess I could understand the backlash. But since when was even... Look, I know that Hollywood is known to blacklist people for talking about Jesus and for talking about God. But like the general public, like what side of the internet was she on where this was even controversial in 2024?
I think that they were coming after her for other evidence that she is MAGA.
Okay, so that makes more sense.
I don't know if she's ever come right out and said that she voted for Trump. I don't think she has, but it's reasonable to assume perhaps that's possible. And
Russell Brand is already
Russell
persona
Brand
non grata.
Yeah, he already was like post cancellation by the time that she commented on his post. But I think that she made this calculated move to say like that doesn't reflect who I voted for. So she didn't say who she voted for. She just said like my comment didn't reflect anything about my voting decision. So she chose not to clarify whether she voted for Kamala or Trump. People of course assumed that she voted for Trump. And I believe she thinks that, even if she came right out and said one way or the other how she voted, that would affect how people respond. I think that's untrue. I think even if she said that she voted for Kamala, they would still come after her.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, just by associating with Russell Brand,
they'd be like, you didn't vote hard enough. She lost.
Right.
You didn't use your platform to get other people to vote for her. You voted for Kamala and you didn't tell people. Yeah, there's nothing she's going to...
Your platform, you are not obligated to share with anybody. If you want to be entirely selfish with whatever you do with your platform, you're allowed to do that. You don't have to promote charities. You don't have to promote anything. If all you want to do is reap the benefits of the fact that people like you, that is your right to do so.
Right. They always come after entertainers for not using their platforms responsibly.
And that always means promoting my politics. Like if someone has a platform and they're encouraging children to be confused about their biological sex, it's like, well, that was a responsible use of your platform. No, that was not.
So
it's just a dog whistle. Responsible means whatever I want it to mean at the moment.
They rehashed this whole controversy in the Variety piece that was just published, and she noted that she is not sorry for the Jesus endorsement. It's just so funny, the idea that we have to endorse Jesus.
Yeah.
And notes that she is not alone in her devotion. She says in this article, I have a wonderful church that I go to in Hollywood. Most of my friends in Hollywood are Christians. I think Christianity does get a bad rap, but I think that's why if you're a true Christian, you have to lead by example and be the light.
Okay.
So still not commenting on politics, only commenting on her faith, and just continues getting backlash for that.
Yeah, you got to just write it out.
Lessons must be learned from this.
Exactly. You got to, I mean, but it's possible, and I would say even likely, given her status, that she's dealing with some kind of PR firm or agency, and they were saying, you have to do it this way. Here's what the kids want. Here's what the kids want, actually. When they come after you in one of these cancel cultures, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to apologize. Like, they have, these consultants have no idea what they're talking about, and they've never actually engaged with the culture. And so they'll give you very, very bad advice, and that's what this reeks of. Either that or she just panicked and had no idea what she was doing. But, like, 100% the wrong move on every front. You never apologize. I think it was Lou Perez who said this. I'll shout him out. He had this great quote where he's like, I don't apologize to people I don't respect for things I'm not sorry for.
Yeah. And
that lives in my head. That lives in my head.
So, Katie in the chat says, I don't respect this woman. She said sorry for the attack she got. She's a coward. I think the problem is, though, is that this type of quote-unquote cancel culture works best on people who are generally polite and nice and want to get along with everybody. And the problem is it makes more people into extremists because you're not allowed to just exist in the middle. You're pushed one way or the other. And this exists in politics as well, where, you can't take a moderate stance on things because the doomers on both sides of the aisle are going to tell you that the end is nigh and you need to pick a side. So for those of you who might just not feel that pull towards either end of the spectrum, you're going to be pushed consistently to do so. And when people are telling you that you're the bad guy, that forces her to either apologize or lean harder into it. And she may not feel the desire. So I imagine that for some people, you guys would know better, but some people take their faith in a more private way. Like, they don't want to talk about it openly. The hope would be that they live their values and their morals, but that doesn't mean that they necessarily want to talk about it and make it part of their public brand. But if you're making her choose between the two, and she's been in the public spotlight for 20 years now, That was like the
Yeah,
early 2000s.
thereabouts.
That's what she knows. That's her lifeline to her work and her money, and you're making her choose between the two. And what you get then in response is some type of answer that's going to be perceived as cowardice, because in a lot of ways it's partially that. It's also that they just haven't learned how to deal. A lot of people, especially older celebrities, don't know how to deal with this.
They're not social media literate.
No.
And it's funny because at the time everyone was saying like, you're going to get blacklisted by the Tony Awards for that. She did end up winning a Tony anyway, but I think that just is proof of how out of touch the left has gotten. They still think that they have control over things like that.
Yeah.
And this reminded me of a recent interview that Jamie Lee Curtis did, where
about Charlie
she
Kirk.
addressed all of the backlash that she received for saying positive things about Charlie Kirk after he was assassinated. I think that maybe she's backtracking now. She at the time
She is backtracking. Now they're
yes.
saying she was. She says
She's
she was
backtracking.
She says I was misinterpreted.
She said at the time that she hopes, because Charlie was a man of faith, that in the moments of his passing, he was able to connect with God. It was a very vague way that she worded it, but she basically said that she hopes that he met his
She
savior.
hopes she went to heaven. Yeah.
Yes, and then
How
everyone was like, how dare you say this? You're supposed to be an ally. Your daughter identifies as trans. She has a son who is very confused and calls himself Ruby. And she was put to the test in this recent interview to answer for what she said. She said in this backtracking response, an excerpt of it was mistranslated to say I was wishing him well, like I was talking about him in a very positive way, which
Almost
I
as
wasn't.
If he was still alive. Which
I
is
was
obviously
simply
not true.
talking about his faith in God. So it was a mistranslation. In the binary world today, you cannot hold two ideas at the same time. I can't be Jewish and believe in Israel's right to exist and at the same time reject the destruction of Gaza. You can't say that because you get vilified for having a mind that says, I can hold both of those thoughts. I can be contradictory in that way.
Human beings are generally contradictory. And the thing is before the age of social media where you wore all your opinions and ideas on your sleeve, you had friends and neighbors who probably had a lot of contradictory beliefs and ideas because human beings are not that linear.
Right.
They're not.
And I thought at the time, like, wow, this is really good that Jamie Lee Curtis, despite being such a political radical ideologue and trans ally, she can still recognize this man's humanity, unlike the rest of her side. But then she didn't stand on business
And
when she was held to
be-
account for
She
it.
should be one of those celebrities that she's so old and successful now. She should
Yeah,
be
who
able to
cares?
just be like, fuck off.
Yeah, I know, but this is the thing. You actually get to a point of wealth where the only thing that matters to you is your reputation. So all of us, we have certain needs that need to be met, and if you're not tremendously wealthy, you sort of balance all of them when you're thinking about worldly things. How am I going to pay the rent/mortgage? How am I going to get food on the table? How am I going to keep my business going? Whatever it is. When you become ultra successful and you never have to worry about your material needs again, like reputation is the only thing that you have to think about. Whereas for most of us, reputation is one of the things among many other things that we need to think about in order to survive.
Yeah.
Like for them, it's all that there is. So even if they have every dime they'll ever need for the rest of their lives, they're like, did I say the wrong thing? I need to make sure that everyone knows that I don't think the wrong thing. I think the right thing. It's like, and it's the problem is it's not alpha male behavior. Jamie Lee
Yeah.
Curtis, you need to become an alpha. All right.
Culture war kitten.
And if you even wanted to, you could potentially someday become a culture war kitten. Go to twistedplots.com. Support us.
That was such a beta move.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.